In this question, we are given the following quadratic equation: x squared minus 2x minus 24 equal to 0, and they ask us to solve for x. Now, there are a couple of ways in which you can solve for x. One of the ways would be to get it in standard form. To remind you, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. From here, you can either just do normal factorization and then solve for x, or alternatively, you can use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, as you can see here, this is already in standard form, and we can very easily read off a, b, c, and d. So if you look closely there, we have our value for a, value for b, and our value for c. So if we can just use these a, b, and c, remember this is a goes to 1, we can actually just substitute it into the formula and solve for x. In this case, this is a very simple quadratic equation for only a couple of marks, so you might not want to go the long route. You want to go and solve it using normal factorization. So to do this, I am going to open my two sets of brackets, and then I am going to factorize this. X times x is x squared. Then what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the 24, and we can look at the negative sign. The negative sign that you have here, we know that the signs of my brackets that we have has to be different signs, because a positive times a negative is a negative. And then we can look at the factors of 24 and pair them up with these signs to get negative 2. So the easiest ones to look at here would be 6 and 4. And then we put in the signs, negative and a positive. Now, why did I choose those ones? There are other factor pairs. If you look closely here, we can see x times x is x squared. We can see that negative 6 times positive 4, and negative times a positive is a negative. 6 times 4 is 24. But also, if I add them together, negative 6 plus 4, adding them gives me negative 2, and that's important. So there might be other factor pairs that you can use to get to the 24, but by adding them with two different signs, you're not going to get negative 2. And so that's quite important. So now I'm ready to factorize and solve for x. Factorization is done. Let's solve for x. X is equal to 6, or x is equal to negative 4. I remind you that you could have done the same thing using the a, b, and c value, substituting that into the formula and solving for x that way. You will still get full